not to certainly throw stones or criticize what the police are trying to do here, but if you notice, right now there's no vehicles to the left, to the right, or in front of it, like civilian-friendly vehicles. So the police really had an opportunity to pit the UPS vehicle here before it started to get into a built-up area where there's multiple vehicles and multiple innocent bystanders. So they missed an opportunity there for whatever reason. And then the vehicle, the target vehicle, rolls up into a position now where it's surrounded by civilian innocent bystanders. So if you just pause it there for a sec. So commonly, referred to as situational awareness. Like, if you ask people, what does that mean to you? A lot of times people say, oh yeah, just so you know what's going on in your environment. Yeah, there's a point to that. What's going on with you in relation to your environment is probably more accurate. And as you play this out, what you'll see is a few officers who are definitely overwhelmed with a sense of heightened adrenaline and stress. They become target fixated on what's going on with the UPS vehicle itself, and not so much what's going on around them to the left and to the right. And what you see is a couple of close calls where one officer is running into what's commonly referred to as the arcs, so the firing arcs or the effective shooting arcs of another officer. So if you just play it forward. So at this point, multiple shots are fired from multiple different directions. Lots of innocent vehicles and bystanders in and around the proximity to the vehicle itself. And then if you just pause it there. So if you see to the bottom of your screen, bottom left, there's a van with a ladder to it. There are two officers that are probably 1.5 feet apart from each other and offset slightly. Those two officers are fixated definitely on where the shots are coming from with the UPS vehicle. The problem with that is they are behind and to the left of the three officers that you see in the forefront. So the guy that's in the very middle there, he's obviously fixated. He feels vulnerable because he's definitely, his ass is hanging in the wind. He's got no form of protection, no cover, no barrier between him and the shooter. So he starts to move. The problem with his movement is there's no shoulder check, and he nearly runs into the arcs or the potential arcs to that officer that is in front of the van with the ladder. So if you just play it forward, you'll see movement there to the left. Moves forward, moves back, and then the camera is a little bit skewed. So there's just some hesitation and movement that potentially could have been risky in terms of a blue on blue or a friendly force. A friendly force shooting that could have been avoided. This could be drilled in a realistic scenario-based setting, and what you could have is an approach where certain principles would be applied in terms of speed, surprise, and aggression. So whatever that looks like in terms of movement, whether you're moving in pairs, moving in small bricks of 4 or 6 guys, whatever the situation might be, it would just be practice and rehearse. So whoever the point man is would dictate the movement, and then the guys that would be behind him would support his movement. So whether it was a leapfrog effect or a bounding effect, groups of 2 or one at a time given the close proximity. Whatever those drills are, what happens in practice or in training gets replicated on the day. So if the drills are not realistic and the drills are not induced with a bit of stress during training, during practice, then it will not be replicated in a time like this when it's required and needed. So there's a lot of what I would assume some questionable movement, and when it comes to movement and it comes to firearms and the application of deadly and lethal engagements, predictable movement is going to be the key to success. So if you have one officer who's moving unpredictably, there's another officer or another individual that's trying to read that movement, and it just becomes very chaotic and not as systematic as it could be.